Yes, this is a flight review channel, but there's truly something awesome about the Eurostar. A high-speed train that goes under the English Channel, linking the capitals of London and Paris. In just 2 hours and 16 minutes, you can step from London St. Pancras to Gare du Nord, without having to go out to or from an airport. I took the Eurostar for the first time not long after it opened in 1995, but for some reason, I haven't taken it since. A lot has changed since then. The trains have changed. The tracks in the UK were upgraded to be high speed. The primary station moved from Waterloo to St. Pancras. The routing and stops changed due to COVID. Never mind Brexit. So I think it's definitely worth a revisit. What's it like to take the Eurostar in standard Premier? Let's find out. Let's start with cost. You'd think that the train would be cheaper than flying. It's not. Europe is now full of low-cost airlines which didn't exist back in the early 90s, and Eurostar knows that they hold the edge on convenience. While if you book early enough you can still get good deals, a few weeks out, economy tickets were $168 to $207, premium tickets $229 to $377, and business class tickets were $368 and up. One way. Oof. Let's talk about the three classes. Standard is your standard economy seat in a 2-2 layout. There's no meal included, but you can buy food and drink at the cafe car called Café Métropole. Fine. On the other end is the fanciest business class. That comes with a 3-course meal and champagne, access to lounges, and fast-track security. The seats are in a 1-2 layout. But for double the price, I struggle to see the value. That leaves what I believe is the sweet spot, standard Premier. Business Light would be a better description. You get the exact same seat as business class. You still get a meal, though it's not quite as bougie. Ditto with the drinks. The only thing you really miss are the lounges, fast-track security, and additional ticket flexibility. As we'll see, those would have been nice to have, but likely not an extra $150 nice. The price premium of Premier over Standard was only $22. For a solo seat, drinks, and a meal, that's worth it in my eyes. Also, unlike airlines, all classes can select seats for free. St. Pancras station is comprised of 2 levels. The trains depart on the upper level, but the Eurostar has a section of the terminal on the lower level. There's a very long passport and security queue that was quite a bit disorganized. Here, business class has the advantage. You go through passport control and are stamped with the French entrance right there in the terminal. Trains to Paris leave every hour, and trains to Brussels or Amsterdam every 2 to 3. Thus, it's fairly common for there to be 2 trains departing around the same time. So why then are there simply not enough seats for people? The Eurostar is one of the longer trains in the world, so you'd expect them to consider sufficient seating. Alas, no. So you're supposed to arrive 90 minutes before departure to clear security and customs, but then there's not enough places to sit down. I don't know what to tell you. Boarding is done upstairs via long escalator ramps. The train today was a Class 374, a longer version of the Siemens Velaro I reviewed in Spain. I was in Car 2, which while very convenient to get to, means that I'll be at the very back of the train in Paris. There's luggage racks at the end of each car, as well as overhead space. I walked through the business class cabin, which looked identical to the standard Premier seats. The seats are in a 1-2, both in pairs as well as solo seats. I selected one with a table, hoping nobody would sit across from me, but alas, someone did. The seats were fairly comfortable, with both full power and USB. There's Wi-Fi, but it was fairly spotty and unusable in the Chunnel itself. Doors closed 2 minutes early, and we pulled out right on time. Back when I took this train in the mid-90s, it made several stops, including Ashford and Lille-Europe. But now this particular train runs direct to Paris, shaving the travel time down to 2 hours and 16 minutes. There's no plans to return to Ebbsfield or Ashford until at least 2025. The trains to Brussels are now the only ones that stop at Lille-Europe. Service began with a bottle of water, a drink, and a choice of cold meal. There were 2 options, and I went with this salmon quiche served with a side of coleslaw, both of which were quite decent. For dessert, there was a sponge cake that was also quite good. No, this isn't a luxurious 5-star dining experience, but this train is 2 hours, and I'd much rather eat a fancy meal in Paris. The meal concluded with tea or coffee. We entered the Chunnel near Folkestone. It's just over 50 kilometers at a depth of 75 meters below the channel. I didn't bother to film it because, there's nothing to see outside. Several minutes later, we emerged in France, going pretty slowly. Hey, I thought this was supposed to be a high-speed train. Well, fear not, because we quickly accelerated to just shy of 300 kilometers per hour, and maintained that speed as we zipped through the countryside. We passed Charles de Gaulle Airport before slowing to arrive at Gare du Nord. We pulled in right on time. Unfortunately, being at the very end of the train, it took an eternity to disembark. It arrives as a domestic French train, with no further passport inspections. So the Eurostar in Standard Premier. It's great, and I'd absolutely take it over flying. It was comfortable, on time, had a decent light meal, and you simply can't beat going downtown to downtown between two of the great cities in the world. I'd absolutely recommend taking it over flying, just so long as it fits in your budget. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, click that button and please subscribe for my more traditional flight reviews as well as some occasional train content like this. I'll see you next time for a regional train to a very special place that simply has no right to be as nice as it is.